Okay.
Bright Suns Travelers.
Hey, welcome in, everybody. Sorry, I was trying to get my
Welcome,
screen adjusted.
welcome in. We're having technical difficulties of late.
I'm telling you,
To
it's killing me. My
work
goodness.
through. Well, we got a little new tech. We got new phones, and
Yeah.
so getting to build your nest again is just golly,
Yep.
it's tough sometimes. Dean, welcome in. Glad you're here.
Welcome in, Dean. Thanks for being here.
Um, we're going to talk about Book of Boba Fett, guys. We enjoyed Mandomania
Mm-hmm.
so much that we thought we would go ahead and do the same type of stream with Book of Boba Fett.
Yes.
So this is the first, um, this is the first content solely dedicated to Boba Fett. Pam's fam, welcome in.
Yeah. Welcome in,
Good to
Pam's
see
fam.
you.
Thanks for being here, Pam.
That we've seen.
Yeah.
We and I'm excited about it. This is a character who, started out very much as a kind of a fringe character, in the Star
Yeah.
Wars universe. Very much, not a main character at all, but was
Yeah.
actually accepted so well by the fans, and the
Yeah.
fans were so interested. This is Boba Fett is strictly a fan-driven popularity thing.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
By the fans. Pam's fan, welcome in. Glad you can make it. He was, if you, and I highly recommend that you watch Under the Helmet, which is a kind of a companion piece to the Book of Boba Fett on Disney Plus. It gives some details gives a lot of details. It takes you all the way back to the beginning of the creation of Boba Fett, kind of his, how they came up with this character, how he evolved, the creators, the original actor, Jeremy Bulloch, where he came from and how he came to be the Boba Fett that we know today. Even the creators said that they did not expect Boba Fett to be relevant in 2021 at all,
Yeah.
So,
I mean, people, he's always carried this mystique about him. Credit to Jeremy Bulloch for, it's much like we heard from the experience of Pedro Pascal in playing the Mandalorian, in that, you have to, whenever you're not showing your face, you have to convey emotion through your movements and through nonverbal, just the way you carry yourself and your body and everything.
Yeah.
And so, the way Jeremy Bulloch, carried his blaster and just his posture and
his movements.
everything.
And
so
he had very few lines. He had like 4 lines.
I thought it was like 6. Yeah.
Yeah. And we could probably, probably should go back and check all of them and just put all of them, all of them down. Boba's a bit of a buckethead, right? He's as do a lot of other people. Yeah, Boba Fett, he does, the helmet thing, and y'all watch Under the Helmet, the episode on Disney Plus that talks about this. The helmet itself is very medieval. The whole T visor thing is very medieval. Puts you in mind of armor, a suit of armor from medieval times, and so it just adds to the mystique of this character. It adds to our intrigue. What's going on under the helmet. What are his actual expressions. We enjoyed it so much in Mandalorian. And so I'm looking forward to this series. I think I've watched 1 and 2 episodes. 1 and 2 are.
So I've only watched episode 1 just because I didn't want there to be any entanglements.
Right.
So actually, the lines from Boba Fett, 4 of them, as you wish, in response to Darth Vader. What if he doesn't survive? He's worth a lot to me. And again, responding to responding to Darth Vader about Han Solo being encased in
carbonite.
I wanted to say kryptonite, but I knew that wasn't right.
Right.
So yes, carbonite.
Understandable slip of the tongue.
he's no good to me, Dad, is the other line, and then put Captain Solo in the cargo hold was the other,
and that's it.
And so some consider his other line to be the Wilhelm scream as Boba unceremoniously gets knocked off of the little cruiser into the Sarlacc pit, thus capping off his original appearance in the original trilogy. So there you have it. And
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, he had what I think they said he had. What was the total appearance time? I think was like 6 minutes. I think. Yeah, 6 minutes and 32 seconds, according to BobaFettFanClub.com/Fettpedia.
Fettpedia.
Yeah,
I love it.
There you go.
As a companion to Wikipedia, we can also look things up on Fettpedia, which is great. That is great.
Welcome in, Kevin.
I'm looking forward to this. I trust Jon Favreau with the Star Wars, the Star Wars universe. The thing that's really exciting to me about this is it's very much akin to the Mandalorian in that this is all new Star Wars content, guys. This is fresh, new, never seen before. Star Wars content, and it's about a character that has always been surrounded in mystique, but so much fascination and so much, with the like I said, with the helmet, the medieval helmet, the armor, the Mandalorian, we got a little more detail in the Mandalorian.
Exactly.
These people.
Yeah. And it's a really credit to the fans, in that this whole Mandalorian culture has spawned out of a love for this character.
Mm-hmm.
And so, therefore, when they did the prequels, they gave us Jango, and if you watch the Clone Wars animated series, it talks quite a bit about Mandalorians. They go to Mandalore.
It does. Fantastic.
And so, it's truly a credit and testimony to the fans for having carried this character, so many years down the road, to so far as to where here we are like 40 years later from Empire Strikes Back. We're like 41 years, I think, later now. And Boba's getting his own series on Disney Plus, and so absolute credit to the fans.
It's totally fan driven. It's completely fan driven.
And so they built out the whole lore and mythos of the Mandalorian people from Mandalore, and so it's all because people continued to care and talk about Boba Fett for years.
This character, with it's a testament to me of the strength of this character, and the without any lines, without any screen presence, the strength of the design of this character with all the gadgets, all those cool gadgets. It's such a tribute, tip of the ears to, the helmet to Jeremy Bulloch, who was the original Mandalorian.
And every other actor that's portrayed, I need to look up how to properly say his name, but Tamora Morrison. I think they just call him Tim. I think those that are closer to him, I think just call him Tim, or I've heard him just called Tim. But his portrayal of Jango and the clones, and then Daniel Logan as a young Boba, and also voiced young Boba in the Clone Wars as well. So, Russ is right. It's becoming a show about the cultures of Tatooine. Also, we learn a lot about the Sand people, the Tusken Raiders.
Yes. And that's one thing that I'm really enjoying is just getting new information, about the Tusken Raiders and their customs. I did go ahead and watch episode 2, which we'll cover next week. Be sure and join us again for that. But their customs, we're getting some new Star Wars content and information that we didn't have before, and that's just always exciting to me because I love Star Wars, obviously.
Yeah.
Mike,
welcome in, Jillian. Welcome in, Mike Klimovich.
Hi, Jillian. Welcome in.
Wow.
Yeah. Thanks for being here.
It is my lunch break, dear.
Lunch break. Yeah. It's its own time. We're lunching. I'm having coffee for lunch. I'll grab some later, but we're having coffee and Mandalorian discussion. But anyway, I will go back, guys, for next week and look up the episodes for the Clone Wars. We've highly recommended the Clone Wars numerous times over the years to go back and watch the Clone Wars. Specifically the episodes, and let you guys know which ones specifically deal with Mandalorian if you want to just check those out, because it really does help. It really does give you some more really good information about the planet and the Mandalorians. We have the directors for this have a good directors and crew lineup. Jon Favreau. This episode was written by Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Robert Rodriguez, some of the executive producers. I think Kathleen Kennedy, has a hand in this, which doesn't thrill me, but she does still. And so we have, we've got a good bunch of people that really get Star Wars, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing this. This first episode got a lot of mixed reviews. I saw a lot of mixed reviews on this. Did you, William?
I think most of the sites that I follow gave it about a 7 or an 8 for the first episode.
Which is not bad.
Yeah. And so, not bad at all, for sure. But yeah, Ludwig Göransson is back doing the music. So he also did compose the music for The Mandalorian as well.
Yes.
So big credit to that guy, because I love the music from both. And you can tell that he's really put forth a lot of effort to make this distinguished, to make it sound different and give it that feel from a musical perspective, to feel a bit different than The Mandalorian.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, welcome in.
Thanks for being here, Daryl. Welcome in. Yeah, we're happy they're doing it too. Yeah, the music for The Mandalorian, guys, is perfect. I mean, what our opinions are on The Mandalorian. If you watched, if you haven't, you need to go back and watch those streams. Yeah. But
again, you can tell whenever a composer's knocked it out of the park. In that, when I'm just like, I'm on like a road trip or something, I'll just go and turn on the theme song from The Mandalorian, like the main title of of the series, and I'll listen to it because it's so good.
I've done that too. And
so
I do that sometimes when I'm just doing housework. The music is so good, and yet Göransson has obviously made a definite attempt to set this score apart, to set Boba Fett's score apart completely from The Mandalorian. And I think it's good. Again, I saw a lot of mixed reviews. Some of the criticizers, the doggy downers are out. But I think it's great. I think it's appropriate. I like it.
See, I've only watched one episode so far, and we'll get into actually, dissecting the episode itself. But Walt's not, Walt has said he's trying not to be a negative Nelly. So he's, telling everybody to watch.
We want your opinions on it. What are your thoughts on it? I mean, what is it? What was it that you were not pleased with? This first episode, did it not move fast enough for you? Tell us.
I'll say myself, I thought it moved a little bit slow. I thought it was a little bit flashback heavy. But again, I haven't watched the second episode, so I can't tell you, it really picks up in the second episode. But I purposely did not watch the second episode yet because I knew we were going to do this show, and I didn't want to already be thinking ahead.
We didn't welcome you in. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Daryl. Jillian's dropped a link to some Star Wars products on Cincy while we're on the topipic, so check that out if you're interested. But
I still have any left. I think.
Yeah. So anyway, I felt like the pace was just a touch slow, but it's really setting the stage for the rest of the series in my mind. And so in terms of being a kind of the last place we saw Boba was in the Sarlacc pit as far as the on screen goes technically, but then obviously we see him in the Mandalorian. He's wearing all the Tuscan garb. He's wielding a gaffy stick. Yes. And so, we're picking up, having seen, I guess technically now the new, most recent place we've seen him is taking the throne, and Jabba's palace from Bib Fortuna.
Who took over after
Jabba.
Jabba was blown up.
Yeah. Choked out by Princess Leia.
That's kind of where we are on this, and it's a good, that's the last time we saw Boba Fett. He had fallen off into the Sarlacc pit, guys.
Yeah.
And
until he was resurrected in the Mandalorian.
Until he was resurrected in the Mandalorian, which thrilled our souls. Can I just say that, to see him? Oh my gosh, how excited were we to see him? To see him return in the Mandalorian, and then his role in the Mandalorian. The man kicks some tail. In the Mandalorian.
You could go back. We did an episode. We reviewed every episode of the Mandalorian, seasons 1 and season 2. You could go back and watch that episode, where Boba Fett really comes back into his own, and they fight off like a battalion or squadron of stormtroopers, and it's so cool. And so anyway, he kicks all sorts of tail in that episode, and we'll talk a little bit more about the fighting sequences in this first episode. But so do we want to go ahead and get into the actual episode?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
This is set up. This whole first episode was set up by the end credits scene on the season finale of The Mandalorian, where we see Boba Fett and Fennec Shan, played by Ming-Na Wen, who I absolutely love in everything I've ever seen her in. Go to Tatooine. They enter Jabba's palace, and they unceremoniously take out Bib Fortuna, who has taken over Jabba the Hutt's position as daimyo on the planet of Tatooine. And then they just make themselves at home on Jabba's throne. And that's the end credit scene for The Mandalorian, which of course set up this
Book of Boba Fett. So this first chapter, which again they're going with calling them chapters. So chapter 1 is entitled "Stranger in a Strange Land." Set the scene. Cuts to Tatooine. You see I guess technically Boba's palace now, but you see Jabba's palace, and you see the throne. We can see that Boba's submerged in a bactopod. He's healing. And he's having these flashbacks while he's in the tank, submerged and healing, obviously from having sustained some damage. So we can tell Boba's not at full strength, which I think also plays in later in this episode as well. But we see a flashback to Camino. That's where, Boba likely grew up as a child, being cared for by Jango Fett. And he's the only clone with Jango's exact DNA. So all the other clones have some sort of variation or tweak. We see in the Bad Batch, all that squad, they all have desirable defects. And so, they've got Jango's DNA, but it has been tampered with favorably. to enhance certain attributes.
Right.
But we see that little bit of footage, child Boba, portrayed by Daniel Logan, picking up Jango's helmet after Jango was beheaded by Master Jedi Mace Windu at the first battle of Geonosis in 22 BY.
I just watched that episode a couple of nights ago.
So we see that happen in Attack of the Clones. We see him pick up the helmet. And then it cuts to Boba waking up in the Sarlacc pit, and he gets some oxygen from a dead stormtrooper that was also in the pit. But we don't see that stormtrooper actually fall into the pit. So who knows? Could have been a stormtrooper that was just, happened to be in the area, kind of scouting things out and just happened to fall in. There were two of other cronies that fell into the Sarlacc pit during the skirmish, as Luke is trying to get free, and Han and Chewie are all there too. And so you see a couple of other characters. I think one of them was a Weequay, so the same race as Hondo falls into the Sarlacc pit, and then another one of other Jabba's cronies falls into the Sarlacc pit before Boba takes a spill. Han Solo's blinded and accidentally sets off Boba's jetpack, and he falls into the Sarlacc pit. But we see, Boba kind of scrambles. He gets the like an oxygen tube and ends up breathing from there, and then uses his ZX miniature flame projector and plunges it into the Sarlacc and sets the thing off. And then you see the hand come up, and he's crawling his way out of the sand. Yeah. And so,
I thought that was all very dramatic. Personally, I mean, this question that we've all had for 41 years.
How did he get out?
How did he get out?
Yeah, because there are books, the Star Wars Legends books that also tell about how Boba got out, of the Sarlacc pit and what he did afterwards.
Right.
So that's where it's got us. He crawls his way out, and he's just exhausted. I mean, he fought his way out of the pit, and he just kind of passes out, and then he gets looted by the Jawas, and they take all of his armor.
It's kind of a frying pan into the fire. Out of the frying pan into the fire.
The opening sequence of events for Boba is not favorable. He takes a lot of damage and a lot of beatings.
He does, and it was just I was just thinking, oh my gosh, this is a tough guy to be able to endure all of this. To come out of the Sarlacc pit.
He takes a whooping.
Well, he's being digested in the Sarlacc pit. How long was he in there? Obviously he has physical scars. So how long was he in there before he came to?
It must have been some amount of time, because he needed that oxygen badly. That's the first thing he goes for upon finding that stormtrooper.
So Russ, you're kind of disappointed about the whole Mystique and that being gone.
Yeah.
You want that explained?
Yeah.
Well, if they do the series, that's the thing. If they do this series, they kind of had to explain that. So, but I can. There's still, to me, there's still so much Mystique around Mandalore. I mean, there's still tons that we don't know. So so I think we're okay with that.
Yeah, and at one point they were going to do like a full 2-hour length movie on him escaping the Sarlacc pit. And so I'm perfectly fine with that being condensed down into,
hey, Dennis, welcome.
A matter of seconds. Welcome in, Dennis. Thanks for being here. So I'm more than I'm fine with them, reducing his escaping the Sarlacc pit down to a matter of seconds versus 2 hours worth of struggle.
Me too. Yeah, me too. Because and then again, more struggles begin, because once he comes up, the hand comes up out of the sand. It's real, and then he is immediately. We don't know how long he lies there before the Jawas show up. The Jawas, they're the vultures, if you will, of the Dune Sea, and they strip him down, take his armor, which explains explains, gives us some background on the plot from how he comes back in the Mandalorian. He's coming back for his armor. And so,
so that's Cobb Vanth is the one that gets his armor in chapter 9 of the Mandalorian called the Marshal. So anyway, he has all his armor taken, and we see, okay, that's how the Jawas ended up with his armor, and that's how it eventually made its way to Cobb Vanth, and then to Mando, and then back to Boba. And so the Jawas, he goes to wake up a little bit, and the Jawas knock him out again. The Tusken Raiders then take Boba captive. The sandstorms are incredibly harsh on Tatooine. Basically, he's strapped behind a bantha, and he walks for a while, and then his strength just gives out, and he lets him drag him. So
after all that, I wondered, they revived him with some kind of gross looking.
Oh, it was so nasty. It looked like a carrot, and they shot out some sort of green liquid. Super gross. It was really gross. But it brought him to immediately. I think that must be some bad stuff. Yeah, no joke.
So, and then he just, he gives out as he's being dragged, it's being pulled behind this bantha. He just gives out.
Yeah.
So, they're.
Yeah, I hear you, Russ. Russ is, he would have been fine with them keeping the current story and not bridging the gap and just kind of, letting it be assumed, he made it off without, like Captain Jack did. He made it off the island with the sea turtles. So that's a pretty good analogy there.
That's true. Sea turtles, mate.
Yeah, he's just got it rough. You wake up in a Sarlacc pit, and then you're covered in stomach acids, and you go to get out, and then you get knocked out by Jawas, and they've got the rough rays of the twin sons of Tatooine beating down on you, and then you get all your stuff taken, and then you get woken up, and then you get knocked out again.
Yeah.
So he comes back to, and he's strapped to a log, and he's beaten with gaffy sticks by a young Tusken and other Tuskens. And he's later joined in captivity by a red-colored Rodian, same species, same race as Greedo. But
bounty hunter who tries to take Han Solo in.
Yeah. And so anyway, the Rodian spoils his getaway. So Boba ends up choking out the Massive. So that's like this reptilian dog type creature that we also see in other Star Wars.
Got them staked out there on the sand. All of them are asleep. They've got them staked out on the sand with this guard dog. The Massive. They're ugly.
Yeah, very ugly. But he chokes it out, and then he's like, he wants to make a move to get out of there, and the Rodian rats him out, and sounds the alarm.
Yeah,
and he tries to he tries to make a run for it, and so Boba, in an interesting display of grace, in my opinion, Boba could have struck that young Tusken and potentially used the young Tusken as some sort of leverage.
That's true.
To to be like, hey, y'all let me go life for life. I'll let him go. I won't hurt him.
Right.
But anyway, he doesn't hit him with a stick. He just runs off with his stick, and then the Massive ends up chasing Boba down, and he is pursued once again by the other Tuskens, and he loses a duel to one of the Tuskens. I'm guessing kind of the muscle of the bunch, if I had to guess. So there's one that was had kind of a bit different outfit than the other Tuskens. I'd refer to that one as kind of the Tusken chief. But anyway, he loses the duel. Obviously, Boba's in a weakened state. Hardcore.
At this point, you're wondering. You're thinking, man. He's been so
stomach acids, knocked out by Jawas. All your stuff's taken. You've been dragged behind a bantha.
Heat,
through a sandstorm. Heat. Yeah,
thirst.
Not a great day to be Boba.
Thirst. He's not in good shape, and but still, I will have to say, and I may say this more than
he puts
once,
up a decent fight for being.
He does.
Yeah. for
He
being
does.
severely weakened.
Yeah, and we saw him. We got to see Boba Fett in battle in The Mandalorian in a couple of different episodes of The Mandalorian, and so we know that he is no shrinking violet.
Yeah,
and which could be why, but he's in such a weakened state that's got to be why he doesn't put up, a whole lot of fight, here.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have it in him at this point.
Yeah.
However, as we see later on, he's pretty charitable. He's not. I was interested to see what his demeanor was going to be. Is he going to be ruthless? Is he going to be,
I was expecting full on, ruthless, bad mamma jamma energy. It just his portrayal. And again, I haven't watched episode 2, but his portrayal through chapter 1. He shows people a bit more grace than I would have imagined. Boba Fett showing people. Granted, and I'll talk more about that
because
later.
Of his weakened condition. I'm thinking, but I have watched episode 2, and we'll see how it goes. As the story progresses, but when just to kind of draw a parallel here, and I may do this a lot just because I'm such a fan of the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian, when we see the Mandalorian, he is a kick butt, bad guy, good guy, from the get-go. I mean, that this guy's not to be messed
with.
And that's how Boba Fett is introduced in the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So I hope we see some of that. Give us some of that. Give us some of that tough Boba.
I want to see that. The same thing. I want more of the Boba that we saw fighting alongside Mando, against the Empire forces, where he's using the knee rockets. He is just he beats one of them. Breaks one of their bashes one of their helmets in with a gaffy stick. I want to see full on. Just kicking tail Boba.
Too. That's what I want to see.
And so, anyway, the flashback kind of ends with him getting knocked out, and he's awakened by Fennec Shand from the Mandalorian, Ming-Na Wen. We've already mentioned how much we like her. She just simply wake up, boss. Boba says the dreams are back. She tells him, hey, everybody's lined up to pay respects. So Boba, suits up. Kind of a cool moment to see all his gear put back on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's a neat moment. I was just going to say, when he, Fennec wakes him from the back-to pod, which is the same pod that they healed Luke in, would have been Empire Strikes Back. And so when he comes out, he's obviously got to get dressed. He tells Fennec, the dreams are back. And so we know that, from the dreams, those are the flashbacks that we're getting of what happened with the Tuscans and what have you.
Yeah.
And I will say, I thought, there was a lot of jumping back and forth there, which kind of, a lot of people didn't really like that. There was a lot of jumping back and forth. There's the flashbacks to the present. That didn't bother me a whole lot. I thought maybe, some of that was kind of necessary to get this thing kicked off. But the whole, with him putting his armor on him, his father's armor on him, was ceremonious, and it was pretty cool to to see him, and to go sit on Jabba's throne. So Daryl thinks he looks like Gru.
That's funny.
Or Dr. Evil.
But he suits up. I was a little confused on the timeline here because in the Mandalorian we see clean look Boba, and that his gear's been refreshed, his helmet is all nice looking and everything. And it is his helmet is reconditioned in this episode later on. Mm-hmm. But it's beaten up whenever he puts the armor on. It's nicked up and everything, and so it's I was a little confused on the timeline there. It has some time passed. Since is the reason he's healing up is because he's coming back from yet another encounter with who knows who. And so his armor got beaten up again, or I was a little confused on the timeline.
Right, yeah. That's because your powers of observation have become so keen.
There you go.
Here's the thing though, guys, and here's a question I have, Russ, that they haven't answered. The big dent that he's always had here above his left eye in the helmet, that's been there since the beginning. That dent, that bullet hole or whatever. Now we know that it's Beskar, and Beskar is impervious to bullets, if you will, some laser fire. It's also even impervious to lightsabers. So how does that dent get there? That's still a big question to me. It's still there. It's always been there and was put there from the beginning. The designers, put that in there. So there's one for you, Russ, that hadn't been answered yet.
So the canon explanation. So this isn't no longer, I guess, official really. Let's see here. I just looked it up. I thought that was right.
Oh, seriously? They've explained it? Darn.
Sorry here. I'm looking. So as the story goes, the look of Boba Fett's helmet was originally a mistake. A bubble that appeared in the helmet's molding process popped, causing the indentation. So the explanation, I think, that was described in the books potentially was that Cad Bane, Cad Bane of Rebels and of the Mandalorian, of the Clone Wars animated series, another bounty hunter, faced off with Boba Fett, and he got shot, but it hit him in the helmet, and so that's where they say that came from. You could have just not told me that and left it shrouded in.
Yeah.
Well, sorry. But it doesn't matter anyway because they haven't ever acknowledged that as being part of the new canon since Disney purchased them. So,
that's true.
But let's see here. So I was a bit confused by the timeline a little bit. So, obviously Boba's taken the throne from Bib Fortuna, and has that, he has that refurbished helmet, but obviously here, whenever we see him, it's beaten up again. So, like I said, I was a little confused timeline wise what happened. Boba says we really need a protocol droid, like C-3PO. So, and the robot that's assisting them is called 8D8. Which the only reason I knew that is because I turned on the subtitles, which again,
exactly, me too. Because
which was something we picked up on in while watching The Mandalorian, is to watching the subtitles, because sometimes they tell you things that you don't hear actually on the screen. True. So
and a lot of times they say words that you think, what did they just what did they just
how do you spell that?
Yeah. If you turn on the subtitles, then it gives you a lot more information. So, little tip: watch it with subtitles, especially if you're like us and you're going for detail. Yeah. Subtitles. So
8D8's announcing everybody that enters the room to pay their respects. Basically pay up, because I'm the big dog. I'm in charge. Come pay your respects.
Right. Daimyo, I believe. There's a word for you, Daimyo.
So actually, daimyo, I did some research on the term daimyo. Apparently, it roughly translates to large landholder. And it's a term that originates from ancient Japanese culture that refers to a great lord who ruled over an area of territory, serving as a vassal for the shogun.
Okay, interesting.
So anyway, yes, I did a little bit of homework on that. We see 3 different people come up. The first person, their first creature brings some credits, like a little container of credits. The next individual that comes up is Doc Strassi, who previously is Trandoshan, the leader of the Trandoshan family. So the most famous Trandoshan I know of is Bosk, who's one of the other bounty hunters. So in that scene where Darth Vader recruits the various bounty hunters, and you see them all lined up there, Bosk is the lizard-looking one. Yeah,
gotcha.
And so he'll look exactly like this character if you go back and watch. If you go back and watch this episode and compare it to the movie.
I didn't. Yeah.
But yeah, Boba says I used to do work for him. He brings some sort of pelt, some sort of fur,
Yeah.
hide.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was
As
bantha,
tribute.
was it Wookiee? I don't know, but some sort of fluffy brown pelt.
Yeah.
And he
Boba,
acknowledges Boba as
yeah,
daimyo.
he does. He
Mm-hmm.
does. And Boba Fett's old boss, and they're said, well, Boba Fett's kind of awkward, and Fennec says,
Yeah.
well, it's more awkward for him.
Yeah.
But what was cute was, the Trandoshan, Doc Strassi is very, his voice is gravelly, and he's,
Yeah.
foreboding and, threatening. And
Yeah.
Boba, when he, exits stage left, Boba says, even when a Trandoshan pays you a compliment, it sounds like a threat.
Like a threat. It was really funny. So yeah, Boba had a few quips in this episode that I was gonna draw that out too. So the third individual that comes in has kind of the like Leku type tendrils.
Right.
So kind of looks like a Twi'lek almost. So it's announced as Mock Shays, the mayor of Mos Espo, but that's not who shows up. It's this guy that's the mayor's major domo. And there's this big misunderstanding, which I'm quite frankly, if there was a time where somebody could have easily gotten the axe in this episode, and it would have fallen on somebody, I would have imagined it would have fallen on this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy is just dripping with, I am a politician, don't believe a word I say. Look,
Oh yeah, big time. So yeah, he comes in and he's kind of got this I don't know, this interesting vibe about him. And portraying kind of an
Yeah, the actor carries it off well. Let's see. The actor is David Pascassi. Plays the Mock Shaz's major domo.
Yeah. And so anyway, he shows up, and he not only did he not bring a tribute, but he expected one in return. He says, I come bearing a heartfelt welcome and apologies that the mayor is away on business, basically.
Yeah, no tribute. So that's insult number one. And insult number two is I didn't bring a tribute, and I'm coming in, and the mayor's too busy to come himself. So I'm coming in. So that's, strike one, two.
Yeah, not a, in my mind,
Fennec takes umbrage.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, Fennec reminds the major domo of what his fate would have been if Jabba was in charge. And so it's an interesting transition of power, because Boba could have easily blasted this dude away and not thought, another second about him. And he would have been Rancor food if Jabba the Hutt was still in charge.
Yeah, that's without question. And basically, the robot, and I forget his name again.
AD-8.
AD-8 tells, he says, when the Gamorreans, which are the pig-like characters, they bring them up, they're presented as well, because they wouldn't surrender.
Yeah.
And, he says, he tells Boba, you have to project strength, and their torture squeals will, be,
basically, make people fear you
in the hearts of, because Jabba obviously ruled with fear, as most tyrants and bullies do. So, and Boba says, that's not the tack I'm going to take. So he instead
he says, I don't torture. Yeah,
I don't torture,
which is interesting based on the things that have happened to him. The
Gamorreans, he says you were loyal to your former masters, and they're, at this point they're, squealing and probably, expecting to be fed to the, the Rancor. And, he says, if I spare you, will you be loyal to me? Fennec obviously thinks it's a bad idea, and she tells Boba that. But they pledge allegiance and they kneel, to Boba.
So basically, these Gamorreans serve the throne, regardless of who's on it. They seemingly serve the throne, and so
because it says that they serve Jabba to Bib Fortuna. Yeah.
Yep. So really funny quote, real quick, back to the Major Domo. I was surprised he made it out alive, especially after having the goal to ask for a tribute, ask for a reward. And Boba's response cracked me up. What? I'm the crime lord. He's supposed to pay me.
Right.
So I got to get a kick out of that. And then Fennec said, "Shall I kill him?"
Yeah. Very, very nonchalantly, very deadpan. Shall I kill him?
So it cracked me up. There's a really funny scene in Waterboy where the Waterboy's girlfriend, she's bringing up these messages of support while the Waterboy's taking an exam that he has to take in order to be able to play in the game, and she holds up a sign that says "Want me to kill them," and somebody made a meme of Fennec's face on her body,
cool.
and the Waterboy just no, let's not do that. And anyway, somebody put Boba's helmet on the Waterboy's body. It's really funny.
That's funny.
So I got a good kick out of that one. So
forward that to me. I haven't seen
Fennec is more than willing, and she is ready, willing, and able to take some people out on Boba's behalf. She's just waiting on the word.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, Fennec.
So anyway, they make their trip into town. Like you said, the Gamorreans are spared by Boba. So Boba obviously is going to be a different leader. Good luck, Russ, by the way, on the job interview. Hope it goes well.
Yeah, definitely. Good luck, Russ.
But
talk later.
Yeah. So the Major Domo kind of, interestingly alludes to, he wouldn't be surprised if they receive another delegation in the near future. And so to a degree, I was wondering if the which I'm jumping ahead a little bit here. I was wondering if that group that they were attacked by may have been the other delegation.
Right.
But I don't know yet. I haven't seen episode 2. I don't know if we figure out what happens yet. But anything else you wanted to mention in that scene, Mom?
It was a good scene. I thought the guy that played the mayor's major domo did a really good job with his. I thought it was really perfect acting.
It was
to give you that vibe. And Boba even says we need to keep an eye on that guy. And Fennec says I keep an eye on
everyone. So we get a neat flyover shot of Mos Espa. Boba walks instead of being carried on a litter like a useless noble. And Fennec says, "Hey, it's a sign of power." So again, Boba's saying, "I'm going to do it my way."
Right.
But literally everyone else around him is saying, torture people, you need to instill fear, have them carry you through the town.
Yeah, you need to set yourself up the way previous daimyos have. As power. This is the sign of authority and respect that these people expect. This is what they're used to seeing. Is basically what Fennec tells him. And he says,
things would go a lot smoother if you accepted their ways, is what Fennec tells him, which he fires back at her later on.
He does.
But we enter the cantina. Yeah, we enter the cantina, and the Max Rebo band is playing. So that little blue creature, they're playing some variation of the cantina music. They're not here for drinks; they're here on business. Right. Boba tells the R2 unit that comes up to him. I think it's actually an R5, maybe. But it's it's got drinks on it. It's really cool. You can actually get a little drink carrier to put on your droid from Galaxy's Edge. So as an attachment. So that's pretty neat. Boba has their helmets cleaned and serviced when I think they're probably Twi'leks come up and ask if they need anything. Garsa Fwip, the cantina owner, comes over to them.
Played by Jessica Biel, interestingly enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's really pretty and she's really tall. Was the other thing that I was going to mention.
She is.
But anyway, they asked if they needed their Gamorreans hosed down and fed while they were sequestered, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And again, we see another reference made to, basically he tells her, "Hey, there's been a transition of power. I'm in charge now. I'm taking over for Viv Fortuna." And she said, "Oh, apologies. I didn't see your litter." And so again, there's that expectation. Yeah. So Boba assures her business will continue to thrive under his watchful eye. She says he's always welcome. Boba's helmet, they get their helmets back, and his is filled with credits. And Fennec says, "Yours is shinier than mine," which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
But
yeah. There was, I take it there was nothing in her helmet. But they do look nice. They've been all nice refurbished and cleaned. So
yeah. Let's see here.
So he basically, this is to introduce himself to Garza Whip and say, "Hey, your business will continue to run smoothly under my watchful eye." So this is his, appearance. I'm here. I'm the new daimyo, and I will be watching you. Essentially, is his message to Garza Whip, and she seems fine with that. I mean, she
says it's yours. This is our little slice of paradise. We'll play in our sandbox, and you show up whenever you will, please.
Yeah. So she operates. She wants to operate her business, and she will do whatever she needs to do to make the current daimyo happy to stay in business and do her thing.
Exactly. So as they're leaving, Boba says Jabba had many vassals. We've got a lot of ground to cover if we are to keep his empire intact. And he also says Jabba basically, Fennec says, "I can handle it." Like Jabba barely ever left the palace. And he says, "Jabba ruled with fear. I intend to rule with respect," like we heard in the trailer. And Fennec says, "Fear is a sure bet at difficult times."
That's true.
So anyway, they get jumped by these, energy shield
assassins.
Electric baton wielding assassins.
Yeah, what I just wanted to say, the shields that they use, those electronic shields or whatever they are really cool. I love those. I thought those looked really, really neat. So apparently when you touch them, they shock you, which is an added benefit of a shield.
So, I was thinking about this scene because I was like, we watched Boba and Fennec and, Mandalorian and others like just completely take down a squadron of stormtroopers. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, Boba kind of gets whooped a little bit in this fight. Yeah. But granted, they had the power surprise on their hands. And also, I'd imagine that they were much they were much more well-trained than stormtroopers were. I mean, these are like you said, they're assassins, and so
this is a different ball game. Plus, remember, Boba is still taking.
He's weakened.
His time in the
back to pod.
The back to pod, and so he still is not. And he, after this scene, he tells the Gamorreans who come and here I come to save the day. The pig people, the Gamorreans. Yep. Actually, kind of pull their tails out of the ditch here.
Oh yeah, they bail them out. He tells them,
"Get me back to the back to pod." So he is still not 100%. He's not, he's not strong Boba yet.
Yeah, and his healing session had been interrupted, by Fennec in the first place, and so obviously he was healing, Fennec, and he didn't even finish it. So
Fennec obviously is a very, very strong ally, and she is so because Boba Fett brought her back to life, essentially rescued her in an episode of Mandalorian. So,
but he goes to fire a rocket shot. It's no good against these energy shields, and his helmet rolls away. So that's another place that he's exposed. The city folk take the credits that were in the helmet as it kind of rolls away. The group has electric batons and shields. They have like I said, the element of surprise on their hands. They initially get the better of Boba and Fennec until the Gamorreans even the odds. Fighting continues. The assassins try to escape, and Boba blows completely disintegrates one of them with a rocket as he's trying to escape. And he takes a whole lot of electricity damage. I mean, Boba still looks strong, but he takes a whooping in this encounter.
He does.
So he tells the Gamorreans to take him back to the box, get me to the back to pod. And Finnick chases down the assassins. And she seemingly kills one. It's really neat scenes. It's a solid chase scene. Lots of parkour,
really
kind of jumping, swinging under tubes and jumping from building to building. And so it's a good little chase scene. But Finnick seemingly kills one of them by knocking him off the roof, and then the other is taken captive.
Really good action scenes, good fight scenes. When Finnick takes off after the assailants, he tells her alive. In other words, don't kill him. I need him alive. So,
which I think he's playing the long game there. Yeah, there you go. Shit, exactly. How many messengers does it take to deliver a message? I think about Mulan and Sean Yu.
Right.
And so just one. But anyway, we see cuts to the Gamorreans putting Boba back in the Bacta-pod. His flashback dreams kick back in immediately. The young Tusken takes him and the Rodian into the desert to look for these. They're called black melons, actually, is what they're called. They look like a black onion that you push the middle of it, and and water comes out.
Melons.
So they contain water or milk. We see while the young Tusken's taking them out into the desert of Tatooine, we see a home gets attacked and it's graffitied with this J looking symbol and an L looking symbol right next to it. So I'm not familiar with that symbol, so I don't know what's coming there.
They're obviously ruffians and thugs, and it actually puts you in mind. I think this is they've attacked a moisture farmer. And the moisture farmer, comes up, it really puts you in mind of the scene where the Empire kills Luke's parents. Actually,
in A New Hope.
It really does put you in mind of that. And they witness this. They're kind of behind a dune, and they see these thugs, rob and murder this moisture farmer, and then they take off on speeders, which is a setup for episode number 2.
Okay,
I will say that.
So the Rodian finds several of these. The young Tusken tells him, "All right, dig," and he's like, "What?" And so anyway, they start digging, and the Rodian finds several of these black melons before Boba finally finds one. You can see that the Massif is still unhappy after having been bested by Boba. No hard feelings, mate. He tells the dog. Boba's still upset with the Rodian. He says he's like, "What's your deal? If you just kept your snout shut, we could have got out of here." And he says they could still get out of here because the young Tusken falls asleep and the dog's asleep too, and they could have gotten out of there then. But the Rodian just decides to respond after Boba threatens him. He's like, "Oh, you understood that?"
He understood. I'm going to strangle you with this chain and feed you to the dog. The Rodian is played by, let's see, Dawn. Hang on just a second. Let me look up her. The Rodian is played by Dawn Denninger, which I thought was interesting.
So the Rodian keeps digging for the black melons and then ends up digging up scales, which are connected to a large clawed arm. And all of a sudden,
it's not good. I'm thinking when I saw the scales, I would have stopped digging, right? So she did, and she uncovers it's like scales, and you're thinking, oh, and he does kind of react to go, oh, but then he keeps uncovering, and it's a claw.
Not great.
Stop digging.
And so I don't know what this is called. It kind of looks like Machamp from Pokemon.
It does look like a Pokemon. The captioning called it
a sand creature. So it seemingly kills the Rodian, picks him up and slams him a couple of times and buries him alive, slams him all the way into the sand. And the Massif goes and tries to attack the sand creature, and it gets picked up and swatted. And then
the youngling Tusken does the same. Tries
it stabs him in the foot, which only makes him angry.
Yeah, which makes him mad, and so he kills the Rodian. He kills the Rodian immediately. So the Rodian's toast.
Yeah.
And
the
then
Massive gets swatted away.
Massive gets swatted away. The youngling is he advances on the young Tusken, which yet again leaves Boba to save the day.
Yeah.
And so he basically jumps on his back, wraps his chain around him, the ankle chain that he's bound with as a prisoner, and strangles the creature to death.
Princess Leia style.
Princess Leia style and Jabba the Hutt.
Just like with Jabba.
Just like with Jabba. And, when he does that, then he basically stands up. There's triumphant music playing. Yeah. And
he's holding his chains in his hand.
Holding his chains. It's a very victorious moment. He's killed the sand creature and rescued this young Tusken. The young Tusken is like blown away. He's like, wow, dude. And he begins to do his squeal, and
it's so funny.
He's impressed.
So
impressed.
They the Tusken child and Boba and the Massive return to camp, and the Tusken's making that screaming noise, like running and carrying
holding
the
head. Creature's head above. Yeah, he's like holding
severed head. Yeah,
severed head. It's a victorious thing. He's saying he's telling all of the Tuskens, what happened. You can see emotions. So he's telling so the Tuskens are listening to this kid. Who's saying,
they all get excited about it too.
They do. And the Tusken chief, who is always cool. He you don't hear him. He's remains.
I don't even know that he makes any noises. I don't even know that we've heard him make a noise yet. He just kind of and so he just kind of wordlessly and very stoically hands the black melon to Boba, and Boba finally earns that drink of water.
Not giving him water to keep him in a weakened condition has been a theme as long as he's been imprisoned by the Tuskens. So the Tusken chief, just handing him the black melon so that he can get some moisture and get some water is a sign. Okay, you impressed me. Here's some water.
Yeah, so, you've been accepted into our culture.
Right. You're worthy. You've proved yourself worthy. You've saved our kid and killed this sand creature, which is pretty impressive with no weapons other than the chain. So that's kind of how this one wraps up, and you realize, okay, in obviously in episode number 2, we're going to see him as an ally then of the Tusken Raiders.
Yeah. So it's but I really enjoyed episode 1. Like I said, there were pieces that felt a little bit slow. I will say that. But anytime you're trying to fill in the blanks, you're going to have a little bit of that. And so anyway, I thought, in terms of Boba being weakened, I thought the fights that he got into and the ways that he, ended up winning made sense. And so, it's after all that's too slow. No, I enjoyed it. I didn't, like I said, there were just parts that I felt were just a little bit slow, but overall I really enjoyed the episode. It's cool to see, him get out of the Sarlacc pit. And also too, I'm interested to see how it plays out for him, because his strategy thus far, has kind of gotten into a little bit of trouble. And the other thing about not being carried on a litter through town is that everybody saw you get attacked, and everybody saw you got weakened in the streets. True. And so if there's a power vacuum, that means there's blood in the water. And so,
and he's got some ground to make up. He's got to get healthy. Obviously, he's got to get healthy. And we know that I enjoyed it, Daryl. I loved it. I thought it was a good start. I thought it gave us, good explanation of the Sarlacc pit, and then boom, right on into Boba's story, which is exactly how, what I would have wanted to see. So, episode 2 is excellent. I really enjoyed episode 2. A lot of
well, I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah. Some surprises there, some interesting content, interesting backstory on the Tusken Raiders. Daryl, have you seen, have you watched episode 2? I bet you have. So looking forward to next week.
Yeah.
And talk about that.
So I at some point, the mayor, Monk Shays, like there's going to be some sort of interaction there because they've already set that up. And so I'm interested, here's the thing. I'm giving Boba some grace here, as he continues to kind of be graceful towards others. I'm giving him a little bit of grace here in that, anytime there's a transition of power, you don't just go in and, start blowing people away. You have to figure out the lay of the land and then figure out who's your allies and who's not.
Right.
And so,
which he's doing.
Yeah.
And he continues in episode 2.
Okay.
It kind of continues in episode 2. Yeah. I think Daryl, we're going to see bad.
I'd imagine we see some ruthless behavior from him at some point.
Tough guy Boba.
Yeah.
I think we'll see that come up. So I enjoyed the episode overall. I thought it was good. I love the music. Goranson again hits it out of the park as far as I'm concerned. I've seen criticisms, guys, on everything.
Yeah.
There are those who criticize just to criticize and get clicks.
Yeah.
So I form my own opinions, and we're giving you our honest opinion on this thing. So
I enjoyed it. Today was the third time I'd watched it, and it took me a good hour and a half or so watching it and taking notes. We're not just shooting the breeze on this. We put in a lot of prep on these, and so if you've watched any of our Mando Mania episodes, we put in a lot of work
trying to do our homework
on these. Yeah. And so hopefully we've provided some sort of insight or information you didn't know before the stream that you now know after having watched it. So questions, this Mock Shea's character is going to have to play, in my mind, is going to have to speak up a little bit for what was more important than meeting the new daimyo.
Right. Right. And there's obviously Mock Shaz is his seems to be at this point his main competitor, his main he's got to figure out what their relationship's going to be. And Daryl may be right. Daryl, said we really don't know what Jabba's and
their relationship was.
Yeah. So, we'll see. So who is the mayor? What kind of role is he going to play? Will we see any Hutts? Are we going to see any Hutts? I'd be real interested to. I think the Hutts are fascinating. Again, they're in the some in the Clone Wars, so you get a little more information on the Hutts as a race in the Clone Wars. But I'm interested to see if we will see any Hutts. And what other familiar Star Wars characters? I'm
wondering if we're going to start seeing some of Richard Boba's old compatriots make appearances.
I think they will.
You've got Dengar, you've got Bosk, you've got basically all of the bounty hunters that were in along with Boba lined up there. Whenever Darth Vader was sending them out.
Daryl's asking about your shirt. Your hat.
My shirt. Yeah. So I've got that's my Mudhorn hat. It just says Star Wars. But the sleeve has characters on it. So you got Yoda and Chewie and R2 and there's Boba himself. And the Stormtrooper. So
I have that same shirt that's quickly become one of my same shirts. And I have on my Mandalorian spirit jersey here. So, that's what I chose to wear today. But anyway, guys, that's kind of our thoughts on this episode. Mm-hmm. I'm just overall excited to see more. Give me just Star Wars content. I'm
pumped about it. So the other bounty hunters that were in that scene in Empire Strikes Back were IG-88, Dengar, Bosk, Zuckuss, Forlom, and Boba Fett. So I'm wondering if we'll see any of those characters make an appearance. in the show at some point.
I think. Plus, I think we'll see even towards the end, of this run. I think we'll see some characters to set up, the next series.
Yeah.
So they're good about that.
I've got a buddy who's a big Star Wars fan, and he is banking on at some point us potentially seeing either Captain Rex of the Clone Wars fame,
yes.
and also a few episodes of Rebels as well. And he's also potentially banking on maybe seeing Mace Windu at some point.
Would that be ridiculous?
And so,
awesome.
Obviously that Mace Windu, because people have always hypothesized that nobody's ever been killed by Force lightning. So, and people have survived really, really far falls.
That's true, obviously.
And so, and he's got the Force. I mean, he's a Jedi. So,
anyway, getting your hand cut off.
Getting his hands cut off, and then being blasted out the window.
Right.
Who knows? And also too, it's like, well, why in the world would he have, basically gone into solitude? But I mean, we saw Obi-Wan and Yoda both do the same thing.
Obi-Wan and Yoda both did the same thing after Order 66.
So who knows? But anyway, it would be, if he has a problem with anybody in his life, and if there is anybody he would like to get revenge on more than anyone else in the galaxy, it's Mace Windu.
It's Mace Windu, because Mace Windu killed his dad. Mace Windu in Attack of the Clones, Mace Windu killed Jango.
Who knows? I mean, we've resurrected, my goodness, Rise of Skywalker, we brought the Emperor back. We brought zombie Palpatine back.
That's true. That's
Book of Boba Fett
rose from the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, so Boba came back from the Sarlacc pit. Fennec was left for dead in the desert. And she got turned into a cyborg, and so
and we didn't even talk about that.
but if they could bring anybody back, I mean, they if they want to do it, they'll do it. So we'll see.
Exactly. Yeah, and I would love to see. Oh my gosh, I'd love to see Mace Windu come back. Dean, they can bring him back to life, buddy. They can. They can, and we love it. We love that they can do that. Guys, watch if you're interested, if you haven't watched, there are a lot of folks that haven't watched The Mandalorian. Oh my goodness. Go back, watch we have a playlist.
If there's anything on Disney Plus worth watching, it's The Mandalorian.
It's The Mandalorian. Number one on our list.
We both ranked at number one. We talked about the top, both of our personal top 10 Disney Plus shows. And The Mandalorian made number one on both of our lists. So if you haven't already, give it a look, because it's worth the watch.
Check out our playlist on those episodes.
And even if you're not a huge Star Wars buff, The Mandalorian could still be enjoyed.
It stands alone. It can stand alone. It really can. So check out our playlist on those and go through that. And we're looking forward to this. This is going to be fun, guys. We're looking forward to it. So
let us know. Hopefully you had a good time today. Like I said, hopefully we covered some sort of information that you didn't know already over the course of our stream today. But a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to watch episode 2. I'm right there with you. Right there with you, Richard. I've got to watch episode 2 now. I didn't want to get them entangled at all. So I'm looking forward to watching episode 2 later on today. But Episode 1 was good. A solid introduction back into the character, and looking forward to seeing where they go. Where they go from here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Tuesday nights, check out our Hitchhiker Chat, which is kind of our mainstay live stream. We've been doing that for over 2 years now. Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. Various Disney topics. You name it. Check that out by all means. Tina McNeil, who's one of our ghost host moderators for our channel, will join us next week for Hitchhiker Chat to talk about her recent trip to Walt Disney World, her impressions of Genie Plus, their DVC stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge, all that we're interested, to talk about with her. Jillian will go live on January 15th for What's Brewing with the Bones, which is her live stream series, and she will discuss her top 5 favorite Disney movies. That's going to be at 8:30 a.m. Central, 9:30 a.m. Walt Disney World time or Eastern. Again, January 15th, a Saturday morning. So that's a morning. Get up, grab your coffee, join Jillian on the 15th. I'm going to schedule a mail stream, guys, pretty soon to acknowledge all the wonderful Christmas cards. We got tons of Christmas cards, guys. We love magical mail, and I'm going to do a mail stream on that cool. Pretty soon. And we'll have some new, hopefully some new, content, rethinking some of our content and some of the things we're going to be doing for the new year. So exciting stuff coming on the Hitchhiking Bones.
Yeah. So everyone make sure, do your homework. We'll be reviewing episode 2, reviewing and discussing episode 2 next week. Same Mandalorian place, same Mandalorian channel. So 12 o'clock p.m. Central, 1 o'clock Eastern, next Thursday, talking about episode 2. Yeah.
Oh, good, Russ. Glad to hear it. We'll talk to you about that. Good, Richard. Let us know what you think. We love to hear y'all's honest opinions about all this. Kevin, gonna watch episode 2. It's great of you guys. Thanks for waiting on us to watch episode 2. That's really cool. Let us know what you think in the comments. Leave a comment, guys. If you're watching on Team Replay, we love our Team Replay so much. Use hashtag Team Replay and let us know what you think. Honest opinion about this. Because there are some naysayers or people that really didn't like it, and I'm always interested to know why. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Jonathan, hey, welcome
in Jonathan. So we're wrapping up, but shout out to Aunt Susan, Aunt Joy, Jillian, Kylie, and other family members. Shout out to Dean the Turkey Lexter, Pam's fam, What in the World with Russ, Kevin Theme Park Adventure, Jillian Bone, Mike Klimovich, Mouse Talk, Daryl Cersei, BDF, Dennis Algazi, Bloomin' Cheesa, and Jonathan Chung. And if I missed you, I apologize. I do the best I can to keep an eye on the chat, but obviously I'm trying to cover material for the stream as well, and checking my notes and everything. So if I missed you, I apologize, but thank you for being here. Shout out to everybody that watches on the replay. Let us know
so much,
if
guys.
you watch, and let us know what you enjoyed, what you didn't like. We're here for all of it. So like, subscribe, and ring the bell if you're new, so you get notifications when we go live. You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to reach out to us, you can message us on Instagram or email us at thehitchhikingbones@gmail.com.
And at the Hitchhiking Bones YouTube channel, there's always room for one more. So please hurry back.
No disintegrations this time.
Till the spire, travelers.
Till the spire.